Hello, everyone. Welcome to Super Loved and day zero of Galore, which is this is day zero and day zero take two because we had an interesting recording this morning where I forgot to put on my headset, so you didn't get to hear it as well as you could have. So, hey, let's do this again. And I actually love this because I created this new series called Galore as an opportunity to support you all in raising the bar for love. So, stepping into a space where you can receive something greater than you could ever imagine. And the word galore fulfills that sense of abundance and plentifulness. And so that's also the luxuriousness, the exquisite deluxe opulence that comes with that. And I want to play with this today because this morning when I did the first recording and I forgot to put on my headset, I got a message from someone, and it was just kind of an interesting experience because I went back to the recording to see what had happened, and it was okay. And because I could still hear it, but it was so muted. And there's a lot of things I could have done with that. So, this is part of, I believe, the gift of the universe and how we can live our life, allowing it to contribute to us in interesting ways. And that is, yeah, I could have let that recording be what it was. And yet, that doesn't work for me. Like, I like listening to classes and recordings where I don't have to effort to hear someone. So, how perfect is this for this metaphor of this class where have you been willing to tolerate something or deprive yourself of something that you would really love in your life? And yet we make these choices that are what I would call these low bar choices that then result in what a low bar choice would create in our life. So you can probably look back in the relationship space and maybe see places where you tolerated something or deprived yourself of a value or something that matters to you, and then were in a relationship that wasn't fulfilling for you. So today's experience was perfect for that, in that I'm not going to tolerate having a crappy recording. I mean, it's out there and it says, oops, come to this next class. So we're going to use this space to create something even greater than I had before. So that is the beginning of opening up to actually knowing that what it is that you desire does deserve your attention. And I guess deserve may not be the right word, but what can you start choosing that really honors what it is that you would love in relationship, in your life? And this is going to include all areas of your life. So this Galore 22 days starting tomorrow is about getting those incremental steps and starting to play in your own life in ways that do raise that bar. And, you know, oftentimes this starts with just the awareness of, wow, yeah, I have tolerated less than what I wanted or deprived myself of what I truly wanted. And whether it's in relationships or just in regular everyday things, where do you kind of cut yourself short or not give yourself what you truly wanted? I had a conversation with a client today, and it was this perfect example where she was going out underwear shopping, and she said, "Oh, yeah, there was this option that was pretty just regular, and then there was this option that had like lovely lace and were really beautiful um, looking, and yet one was twice the price." And she noticed where her habit would have been typically to go for the lower price item, but then she became aware of, wow, if I gift myself that my body will feel happy about that. My body will feel different, and that does inspire me and make me feel more beautiful just even thinking about it. So being able to be present with those things that if you were to choose it does create more in your life. So let's talk about this in terms of relationship and what kind of keeps us from raising that bar up in love. And even before we go into that, I just want to acknowledge that, yeah, this can be scary and frustrating. And for many people, the reason why we're dating in this space that keeps creating relationships that aren't that fulfilling, one, because we're not even aware that we're doing it. Two, we've collected a lot of ideas and expectations and projections and stories from our life that have then formed this idea about what relationship should look like or what it should be. And and when you're in it just seems like, well, that's it. Like that's all there is. That's what a relationship is. It should look like my parents or it should look like my best friend, and this is the way it is. And I want to invite you through this Galore experience to be able to actually discover, reveal, receive your next level relationship, your super loved relationship, which is not going to look like anybody else's. And so, even if you don't know what that means or what that is right now, just be aware that so much of what we tend to do in some of these spaces are habits and have kind of sneaky limitations in them. And sometimes I'll talk to people about, oh, what do you want in a relationship? Like, what is it that you would like to create with someone? And sometimes I'll hear things like, oh, well, I would really like someone who would, at least be okay that I'm vegan. Or I'd really like someone who would be, okay if I want to go to church twice a week. And that's when I start asking these questions. And you can ask yourself right now, what would you love? Like, what would be fun for you? And if it's, is it really fun to have someone who doesn't share that, way of eating with you? And, there's a million different things here, but how many times are you cutting yourself off, even changing your ask because your mind jumps in and makes it seem like, well, if you pick that, then there's not going to be anyone. So notice if there are inner critics jumping in, like hijacking your train of creation and saying, nope, like that's too much to ask for. And that's just going to be impossible to create. And this kind of stuff can be an energy that happens so fast that we don't even realize we're doing it. And hey, how many people have we witnessed in our life doing that. So many women just naturally have that habit. I know I've seen it. And now is the time to be able to empower ourselves into claiming what it is we truly desire and being an advocate for that. So if you would like someone who shares your kind of lifestyle, and these are just examples, because the other piece to it is, yeah, you may meet someone who, you know, you adore and love, and the food thing isn't a problem. Like, it doesn't have to be one way or the other. So anywhere where you're deciding that it's like either you get what you want or you don't get what you want, will you please destroy and uncreate that right now just by saying yes out loud, so that you can delete all that energy that may be restricting you or limiting you, and open up to a greater energy to claim more of what you want. And there is no judgment here. Like, if you can just step into your heart's desires and be honest with yourself, because nobody has to validate that for you. Like, you being honest with you is the most important thing. And you don't have to get permission from anyone to desire what you desire. Would you desire someone 20 years younger? Would you desire someone who didn't actually share a house with you? Would you desire whatever, fill in the blank, that you haven't been willing to ask for because you haven't seen it in the world, or someone hasn't given you kind of the validation that that's okay to ask for? So please notice this. And anywhere where you are throwing out that wide net because you're convinced that you have to have a wide net in order to have a relationship, or you'll just not have any options, will you please destroy and uncreate that by saying yes out loud? And when I say destroy and uncreate that by saying yes out loud, it's just, once again, being aware of the energy that comes up, that's kind of that like, usually it feels like, or it's just like this limiter. And it deletes that. It'll delete that so that you can open up space to have something different. And so, yay. So noticing these spaces. And also, so when I was talking about the wide net, oftentimes, so for many of you, the other kind of the scary part may be that that you can see where, wow, I can be successful in my career. I have no problem building a business. I have, done amazing things, and I have confidence in that area. Yet when I go into the relationship space, it feels like, oh my God, I don't know what to do. Or maybe you don't feel as powerful somehow. So just being aware that, yeah, that's okay. Like, we are honoring whatever is here right now, and we're going to, in the next 22 days ahead of us, just incrementally start, dissolving and letting go of these pieces that make us think that either if we have a relationship, we have to compromise, or why even bother having a relationship because I'm not going to compromise, or like, just feeling like there's no good answer. So what if we don't have to have an answer? Right now, we're going to play with actually an exercise I'm going to walk you through that'll specifically give you an experiential sense of raising the bar, or just being aware of this bar. And the bar is just kind of a metaphor. We don't have to get attached to how that looks or what that is, but being able to go, okay, if I'm here and I would like to create a relationship that is different than what I've seen before, because what I've seen before is only based on our stories, our past, our mental history, like the things that we've experienced before. So just a reminder, that's not a very big space. The space of what we've experienced up until now is actually so small. It's just a dot compared to the universe of possibilities. And guess what? Your relationship that you have a sense of is likely beyond anything you've ever seen before. So then you get to move into a different space, and I'm going to guide you and give you some tools and practices that I know work because I use them all the time with my clients and with myself. And this is a really fun place to play in. So I'm going to start with a practice called regenerating images in memory. And this is a facilitation that I do with my one-on-one clients that accesses that deeper knowing, that subconscious space, so that when you put your attention to it and your imagination will kind of guide you, so it's very individual experience, your imagination will guide you to so that you can receive new awareness, so that you can get the insights that you need right now to know something different than your mind is going to tell you. So basically, this process is bringing the unconscious to the conscious space so that you can make different choices. And I'm so in love with this process, and I'm so happy that I get to share it with you. So let's begin. So this won't be that long, but about 7 minutes ish. And so just imagining right now, actually closing your eyes if you like. You also don't have to close your eyes. This is a very forgiving process in terms of, if you like to have your eyes open and that's more comfortable and you can have that awareness. Some people find that it's just helpful to close the eyes and not have a distraction. I tend to have my eyes closed because that's fun for me. And I will have my eyes closed during this as I guide this process. So closing your eyes if you like. And as you close your eyes and arrive in the space of you, just bringing your awareness to your breath. That's one of the most simplest ways I find to kind of bring myself to the space of me, noticing my breath as it moves in and out the body. And then on the next breath, just following that breath as you arrive in the inner landscape of your being. Arriving in the consciousness of you, the space of you, arriving in your body and being. And your imagination will begin to guide you to the space where the bar for love lives. And that is sort of the place where you may stop, like where you say, okay, I can have this, but nothing more. And there may even have been a sense of, oh, wow, I do have my bar at the highest level. And let's just see what else is possible with that. So if you've always thought that, I wonder if there's even greater. So noticing what happens when I say just being aware of where you sense this bar for love, this space of what it is that you believe you can have, what it is that is present with you here and now. And your imagination will just guide you and show you or give you a sense or a knowingness about how this is showing up in your world. And whether you see things or sense things, just know that you get to follow your own experience no matter what I'm saying with my words. So noticing what's arriving right now as to where your bar for love is at this point. And you may notice what that is like, from the color to the quality to whether it's an image or has texture, or maybe it's something you can name, or maybe it seems like a space or something else. So noticing what that is, and as you notice what that is, you may even sense the edge of that, the edge of where that, the edge of that, the space that it takes up. Notice how much space it does take up. Is it a little or a lot? And as we are aware of being in a expansive universe, this universe of infinite choices and space, begin to become aware of what's on the other side of that space that you just acknowledged. So, what is the space that goes beyond what you have considered as the bar for love? So, perceiving and sensing the space beyond where your bar for love stops, and noticing that. What do you notice about that? What are you experiencing as you put your attention on the space beyond? How does that feel in your body? What's popping into your awareness there? So, just for fun, moving your attention into the space of the beyond that bar for love, like beyond what it is that has existed up until now. Go ahead and move into that space. We may call it raising the bar. We may call it the space of possibility. We may call it the beyond. We may call it the unicorn love space, whatever you want to call it. Just go ahead and move your attention in there so that you get to arrive in the space beyond what it is that you've known up until now. And noticing what that space is like for you. And in this space, you may get inspirations, you may get words, you may get messages that speak to your soul. You may have insights about, wow, I didn't know I could even ask for that. What are those things that maybe you never thought you could ask for that are here? What is a space that you've judged as wrong or bad, or that wouldn't get approval by your family, or whatever the story is about what you know about not choosing it? What can you see here, or have here, or sense here? What's available that you never thought could be available? And in this space, acknowledge it. It may not have words. It may just be an energy. It may be sensed as a lightness or expansion. But what's true for you will always feel lighter. So noticing how this space feels compared to what it was like before, in the initial space, the space of where you started. noticing how different it is here. And you may begin just to receive more messages or senses or just a nurturing energy that supports you in opening up to something different. Knowing that what's heavy is a lie and what's true for you will feel lighter. So, what do you know about this? What do you know about this? What do you know about this? And as you begin to just give yourself that sense of receiving this beyond what you had before relationship space, receiving it in your body, receiving it in all your cells. You can receive it like a stream of colored energy coming in, or you may already sense it moving through you, just inviting it to turn up, inviting every cell of your being to say hello to this. Every part of you gets to say hello to this and noticing that. And as you do, and once you sense that this absorption, this marination, this receiving of this beyond this reality, GALORE-ious relationship space, just you'll sense when you are ready to return back into the space. And when you return back into the space and your eyes open, or maybe they're already open, just arriving back in, give yourself a moment to acknowledge what this is like for you and how different it is for you. And say yes to that. And I really encourage you to say yes out loud. Yes, yes, yes. And if you followed me for a while, we play with this tool. I'm having that, no doubt about that. I'm having that, no doubt about that. Having that, no doubt about that. I'm having that, no doubt about that. Just keep speaking to it, even if you don't know. Like, this isn't about creating a man list or knowing exactly who or where or any of that or how it's going to happen. This is about actually honoring a space that is truly that connection to you, the connection to you being able to say, yes, that works for me. That's fun for me. Yes, I've always wanted that. Yes. And there's no deserving here. This is you. You don't have to prove anything or figure out a way to deserve it or become worthy. Of course you're worthy. It's coming through you because it is you. And this is yours to say hello to. It's the choices that become these like dissolvers of the edges. Okay, well, I guess I'll tolerate that, or I don't need that, or, well, if I'm going to have something, I guess I'll have to sacrifice this. Like, none of that bargaining even matters. This is just like, okay, is this fun for me? What is fun for me? And saying hello to that. So that is, and this is the beginning of the continued reminders, expansion, tools, transformation, and practices that lead you to the love that is meant for you. And I'm inviting you, if you're not already in the group, I know many of you are either in Super Loved or already have joined the 22 days. I'm so excited and grateful that you are here in all the different capacities that we offer through Super Loved. And if you would like to be a part of this and make this your daily practice for the next 22 days starting tomorrow, join us. You're welcome to join us. I'll put up the link so that you can sign up. It's getsuperlove.com/next up. Come join us. We'd love to have you. And I am just so excited we get to do this. I'm just like in love with this experience of Galore personally in all the different ways that we get to do that to make our life better. And actually, yeah, there's so much magic to be had. I'm thrilled. So thanks for being here. We will see you really soon. Bye, everyone.